What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the Marvel Select Avengers Infinity War Spider-Man, aka Iron Spider. And here's a quick look at the packaging. You can see the figure right there, Avengers Infinity War at the bottom, Spider-Man along the side, and then on the side of the box you get some cool looking artwork. On the back you get a look at the character. It's not the figure, it's just some artwork from the movie. And then you have a brief description about Infinity War, and then a little bit of information on the figure. And then of course it tells us that it was sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios, and that's always cool when they include that information. And then at the bottom we get a look at some more artwork of Thor and Groot and Captain America, which are figures that Diamond Select is going to be releasing in the next couple of months. So that's it for the packaging. It's big, it's crazy, it's not collector friendly, so let's look at the figure. Okay, so here's Spider-Man out of the packaging, and I'm gonna say right away that I'm kind of having mixed feelings with this guy, because even though I think it's a really nice figure and I think that Diamond Select did a lot of interesting things here, there are a lot of quality control issues. In fact, this is the second Iron Spider that I had to pick up. The first one that I grabbed had a bunch of paint issues, which I was willing to live with. I could see the paint problems through the packaging before I bought it, but I still decided to purchase it. I figured I could go home and touch it up or whatever, and I was okay with that. But then when I was messing with the figure, two of the joints on the spider arms broke pretty quickly, and I wasn't mishandling the figure or anything like that, but the pegs just snapped right off because they're really small pegs, and I'll show you them in just a second here. But that really sucked, you know. So even then I was kind of willing to try to deal with it. I tried to glue it and repair it. It just didn't work out, so I decided to return it, and that was just an unpleasant experience because they really didn't want to do it because I already opened the figure or whatever. But in the end they did hook me up and they gave me a return, and I was able to go buy another one elsewhere. And the second one that I picked up actually had a lot better paintwork, and because I knew what to expect with the pegs, I was able to prevent some of the problems I had with the first one. So yeah, you know, I mean, I like the figure, but that's just a negative experience right off the bat, so that does suck. But anyways, let's take a look at it here. So here's a closer look at the sculpted details on this figure. Gentle Giant did a really nice job with it. I do like the way this figure looks a lot. I do feel like the chest area could have been a little bit cleaner as far as the paint goes, but the sculpt does look very, very nice. And it looks like they kind of did some kind of gold overspray on the upper torso, because some of the red looks lighter than it does on the lower torso. And it's not something that stands out, but it's something that I definitely noticed when I was inspecting the figure. But for the most part, everything does look really cool. And the chest area does have a lot of nice sculpt to it. And all the web lines on the figure are sculpted, so that looks cool, including on the arms and on the lower legs. On the lower legs, you have the sculpted web lines and the gold trim that all looks good. And one thing that kind of sucks on this figure is, even though his legs are pretty articulated, you could see that I have some indentations on the hips from bringing his legs up like that, and that kind of sucks because it's not like I was forcing him way up or anything, but it still left indentations. And the little bracelets here, or I don't know if they're called bracelets, but these little arm guards here are removable. You could take them off when you remove the hand if you'd like. They are just floating around there. And then you have the spider legs that look really cool. There's some sculpt work on them. They look very, very nice, and they are fully articulated. And let's take a look at these pegs real quick. As you can see, it's a very small peg, and I think a big problem with this figure is the fact that when the figure's sitting in the packaging, I feel like the packaging kind of puts stress on these legs, and then it makes these pegs weak. Because on both of the figures, right out of the box, you could see some like stress marks on the plastic there. So what I did was I heated it up really nice with some hot water, and then I pulled this joint out, and then I just flipped it around and stuck it back in there. So this part here that now sticks into the figure's back is what was actually sticking into the arm, and then now what's sticking into the arm is what was sticking in the figure's back. So now the peg that's inside of the arm is the one that has a little bit of stress on it, and it's kind of protected in there. You know, I'm probably not going to swivel this around too much, so I don't really have to worry about that one breaking. And now that I have this peg that doesn't have the stress on it, I'm able to just put that into his back, and it all fits the same, and I don't have to worry about it breaking because it's a little bit stronger. And you know, then I could swivel around the legs as I please. But you still have to be careful with it, even when the pegs are in good condition, because it's just kind of fragile, you know. And all of the spider arms are removable, but I would suggest not taking them out very often, because you just run the risk of messing up the pegs, you know. They are able to be removed, but it's really tough. Again, you just want to be very careful. You don't want to break these things, and for me, I'm just going to probably leave them in there. I have no reason to take them out. I think it looks cool with them on. I mean, it is cool that they could be removed, but I think the special thing with this figure is the spider legs, so I'm going to just go ahead and keep him on the figure. Just in case anyone wanted to see it, here he is without the spider legs, and he does look pretty cool, but again, I do prefer it with the spider legs on. So as far as accessories go, aside from the cool spider legs, he does come with several sets of hands. First off, we have a set of open hands, and he comes with a pair of fists. Of course, he has a pair of thwip hands. He has a couple of web line holding hands, but he doesn't come with any web. One thing this guy is missing is an unmasked head sculpt. So here is the Mezco unmasked Tom Holland head on the body, and it doesn't really fit. It's just kind of sitting up there, but it does look really nice. So it would have been cool to get an unmasked Tom Holland head with this figure. Maybe I could get a custom one or something made, but that does look really, really nice. It almost works for size too, because Mezco figures run a little bit bigger, so it kind of works, you know. But the peg hole just doesn't fit, and I'm not gonna modify the head to make it work. Hopefully in the future they release another version of this with the Tom Holland head. They've been known to do that. You know, they'll do like a Disney Store exclusive and it'll come with the head, and you know, I might be inclined to pick that up. We'll have to see if that happens and if I'm down at the time. And for a couple of quick size comparisons, here he is next to the SH Figure Arts Infinity War Thanos and the Marvel Legends Infinity War Spider-Man. And now here we have him with the Marvel Select comic book Drax and the Marvel Select Ragnarok Thor. And here's Spidey alongside the Marvel Select Hawkeye and the NECA movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Raphael. And as always, we have the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And now here we have him with the Marvel Legends movie Vision and Marvel Legends movie Black Panther. And as you could see, he's really not going to fit in with any Marvel Legends MCU figures. You could probably make it work with some clever posing or something, but just standing straight up, it's not going to work. Here's Spider-Man alongside the Marvel Legends movie Doctor Strange and SH Figure Arts Age of Ultron Iron Man. And then now here we have Spider-Man alongside the Marvel Legends movie Thanos and Marvel Legends Infinity War Captain America. And this Spider-Man kind of looks okay next to the Infinity War Thanos because that Thanos is kind of big. But he's definitely not going to work with the normal size characters. And now here we have him with a couple of other Marvel Select Spider-Man figures. On the left we have the Homecoming Spider-Man, and then on the right we have the Spectacular Spider-Man. And I would really like to see Marvel Select revisit both of these versions of Spider-Man with this new articulation setup. I think that would be awesome. And now here's Spider-Man alongside the only other Marvel Select Infinity War figure that we have, and that's Iron Man. And I do think that they look really cool together, but I feel like they're too close in height. Either Tony should be a little bit taller or Peter should be a little bit shorter. But overall, I think they do look pretty good together, and it's not like they're the same height or anything, so the scale isn't that bad. I just feel like there should be a little bit more of a difference between these two characters. Okay, so now for the articulation, I think that's where this figure is really going to surprise a lot of people because Diamond Select isn't really known for their articulation, but they really went all out with this guy, and it's very exciting because it's really cool to see that they have it in them, you know, and I really hope that in the future they implement some of the stuff that they did here because I think it would only benefit a lot of their figures. So they did a really good job with articulation, but let's get into it here, starting with the legs. So there are 4 joints. They're kind of like little Revoltech joints, but they aren't as sturdy, obviously. You need to be very careful, but they do hinge, as you could see. They kind of, you're able to like collapse these legs almost all the way down, and there is a swivel at each one of these joints. They work just like a Revoltech joint, but you need to be very, very careful. Like I said, you're going to want to heat these things up before you start messing with them. But they are very cool. I like the fact that these things are articulated. It's very, very nice. And then for the figure itself, his head is on a ball joint, so you get some side to side. You could have him look up to about there, look down to about there. There isn't very much swivel because the head doesn't sit very high on that joint. And now here's what I wanted to get to, the torso. So they did some really great stuff with the torso. Diamond Select is notorious for having bad torso joints. A lot of times you'll see the cut, but it won't work, but that's not the case with Spider-Man because they did a really good job with the torso joint here. I'm very happy with that, and it's even like a double jointed torso situation. You have movement at the mid-torso and at the waist, very much like a Mezco figure, so that is really cool. And then you get some side to side. Look at that. That is awesome. I never thought I'd see a Diamond Select figure with a torso like that. It's like an import figure. That is amazing. So that's very exciting that they did that. And with the legs, you're able to come out to the side to about there. You could bring them up only to right there. But like I said, when you bring them up, then the hips hit against the pelvis part, and it kind of leaves an indentation on the hips. That kind of sucks, but you know, what are you gonna do? For the most part, you're probably gonna have them pose like this, so it's kind of unavoidable, but I just kind of wish that wasn't the case. And then you have the upper thigh swivel, you have double jointed knees, you have a foot that's able to go up and down, and then you have rocking ankles. There's no lower leg swivel or anything like that, but that's not a big deal. And then for the arms, you have ball jointed shoulders, so you could go all the way around, but they are pretty tight. You could come out to the side. They don't really come all the way out. They only go out to about there, but you do have the upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which is another thing that's kind of rare with Diamond Select figures. They have been putting it on Spider-Man figures, but they don't do it on all their figures, so I'm glad to see that they did do it here. And then you have a swivel at the hand and then a hinge at the wrist. Yeah, but like I said, some really good articulation. The most exciting thing is definitely the torso. I'm so excited to see that Diamond Select could do something like this, because I never thought I'd see it happen. Like I said, it's like an import figure, so that is just really, really cool. And you get some nice crunch to it. You could get it to go back a really nice amount. And that's just so cool. And I bet you could even get some more movement if you wanted to pop this apart and kind of cut away at it. You could probably get some more crunch, but you know, you probably don't need to. But you know, the option's there. And yeah, I'm just really happy with the articulation on this guy. That was my main concern when thinking about this. I was excited about this figure as soon as I saw it. When I saw it at Comic-Con, I thought it looked really good. And I was just worried that we were going to be able to see all this articulation that wasn't going to work, but that's definitely not the case. Okay, so overall, I really like this figure. I think that Marvel Select did a really great job with it. Gentle Giant did a really nice job with the sculpt. I love all the articulation that's in there, and I'm happy to see that Diamond Select is finally going the extra mile when it comes with articulation. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. I love the metallic paint. I love the overall look of the figure. I think the spider legs came out really nice, but I'm just hesitant to encourage people to go buy this thing, because I'd hate for someone to pick Spider-Man up and then have the same experience I had with the first one that I got, because it was just a mess. And I was really excited about this figure, and having that first one just kind of soured the whole experience for me, and that sucks, you know, because you want to be happy and have fun with your toys and things like that. So when you pick one up and the paint's bad, but you kind of look past that and then you go ahead and open it up and it falls apart in your hands, it just kind of ruins the whole thing. But I am happy that I was able to go back and get another one, and I'll say that I'm honestly happy with this one, but I'm just still kind of bitter about the first time around, because you know, I like to get on here and talk about toys and be excited about it, and hopefully share that excitement with other people, get other people excited to go out and buy toys and be happy with their figures, you know. But with here, I find it kind of hard to do that, because I don't want someone to go out there and buy a figure because of my review and then it breaks and they're not happy with it. That would suck, you know. But I don't know, the chance is there for that to happen, but the chance is also there that you'll get a good one like I did the second time around. So I would just say, know that it's a gamble when you pick this guy up. When I posted that this figure broke, for me, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, that's the normal thing for Diamond Select. But that hasn't been my experience with Diamond Select. For the most part, Marvel Select figures, other Diamond Select properties have been fine. I haven't had a bunch of things break on me. I've had a couple, but I bought a lot of Select figures, and I wouldn't say that it's like a normal thing for them. To be honest, it hasn't been my experience that Diamond Select figures fall apart or anything like that, but that did happen here. Hopefully, if you decide to pick this up, that doesn't happen to you. And if it doesn't, you know, it's a really good figure. And like I said, you might want to do that thing with the pegs where you switch it around, you know, just make it so the peg that's originally in the back goes into the leg. I don't know if I made sense when I was saying that, but hopefully you understood, and hopefully that helps you save those pegs and they don't break, because that sucks when that kind of stuff happens. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and thank you very much. Peace.